Good Friday evening, world. Okay, so I couldn't decide what to do today, so I found something fun to show you. And you're going to learn that I can find humor in just about everything. And I still have my makeup on for today. And so I'm going to put on some lipstick, and I'm going to make some tea. Hello, Kelsey. Hope you're having a good Friday. I'm going to make some tea. Here's another teapot that I have. So first, I'm going to put on this lipstick. This color is called Sugar Plum. I did wear this today, but I didn't put it on full strength. I'm going to put it on full strength now. And I'm just going to try to do it here live. And I'm going to show you this little nifty thing I have. I didn't recharge it. Hopefully it won't run out. Oh, look at that. It's a little lighted mirror. Oh, look how cool. Okay, so I'm going to take this. That's only on the dim setting, too. Look, it has these little finger things in there. You can just hold it and you won't drop it. Actually, I think I'm going to do it the other way, though. Oh, yeah. Okay, so then I'm going to go ahead and put this. This is quite a dark color. Oh, I'll do it with this mirror. Got way too much of it on. Let me take it off of here. Hard to do with holding the mirror. Okay. I'm going to wipe a little bit of that off. It's just too much. Okay, there we go. Now let's try it again. I had too much of my applicator. But I'm wearing this real purpley shirt today. So I'm wearing Sugar Plum. This is a really dark color on me. But so I'm going to be really dark colored tonight for fun. Well, hello, Kathleen. Kathleen, today I am just putting on this lipstick. I still have all my other makeup. And I'm going to show you an old cookbook I have and make some more tea. That's a dark lipstick. This is why I usually, there we go, ooh, that lighting. This is why I usually mix them with a lighter color, but there are a lot of people that can wear a color this dark. Just as is. It's an intense color. These colors are really rich. It's not something I would normally wear during the day. On me. You have a little darker skin, you could get away with it though. Alright, there we go. Turn the little light off. Okay. So I'm going to flip this around. Oops, there we go. And I'm going to make some tea. Oh, I lost my little lifter. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, hi, Patty. Finally made it. There we go. Okay, here, let me flip it around again. So I already had on my makeup from work, and I put on this lipstick. It's called Sugar Plum. This is one of the liquid lipsticks. It's really too dark for my skin, and I normally wear it mixed with a lighter color. But I had on this really dark purple shirt, and I thought I would just show at least what the color looked like. It's like a red, real plummy red. Let me get this little light back on here. It's real pretty. You just need a little darker skin than mine. Or maybe I could wear this at night or something, but it's not much of a date look. Oops. There we go. With this little bright light. There you go. Okay, so what I'm doing today is I'm going to make some tea again because I'm kind of sleepy. And I don't want to fall asleep early because then I'll sleep for 2 hours and wake up and then I can't sleep. So here's my tea we're going to make. And then I'm going to show you the old cookbook I was telling you about the other day that was my my grandmother's. Okay, there's my water. Here's my teapot. Now I have my teapot sitting here full of water. See, that's full of hot water. And that will get your teapot warm and ready to take the boiling hot tea without it dropping the temperature too much of the water. And it will stay real hot. I'm going to drink this one again. I had the other day, this one that I got at Disney World. I hadn't had that one in so long, and it's so good. It's real light tasting. There you go. I'm going to have about 3 cups of that. 3 teaspoons for 3 cups. Nifty little double lid system this one has. Oh, that's the wrong one. Here, that's the inner one. And the outer one. There we go. And this is my teacup today. Another one of my favorites because it's purple. And again, the print on the inside. I like them when they're not just plain on the inside. So it's got print inside and outside. And I have my little tea warmer. Ooh, that's bright, isn't it? My little Demerara sugar. I'm going to use my tea basket today. I'm going to drop the phone too. I don't know how that happened. Let me put it back on there how I had it. There we go. Down we fall. Okay. So I have a couple of more books. I'm trying to find them. I haven't been able to find them because when Hurricane Irma was coming, I took all my books and I put them in gigantic Ziploc bags and put them up real high. And then I had to move stuff around after the hurricane, but they're still here somewhere. And I'm not sure where I put them, but I did find this one old cookbook. And you're going to find out that I can read and find about anything and find something funny about it. And this cookbook has got some pretty funny parts. So I'm going to take this water, this teapot full of water, and I'm going to dump out the water now. Because you only need it there a few minutes to warm the pot. So now I have my nice empty teapot. And then I'm going to put in my little tea strainer today. And when that's ready, we'll pour it. I'm going to put some sugar in my cup. And then I'll be able to have some tea. As soon as that's ready, then I'll show you the cookbook. Oh, you're drinking wine? Yep, I like to drink tea. Have all different kinds of tea. I don't know anything about wine. Just tea. Okay, here we go. Pouring it in. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to put on that lid. I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes for my tea. Okay, let me see now. I'll flip this back around. There we go. Put that up there where we can see. Okay, I'm going to show you this cookbook. There it is. It's kind of, you can tell it's really old. Look at that. You can see the binding. There's the end. See, it's got some kind of water stain on it. You can tell how old it is. So it says it was published in 1930. It says on it, meals tested, tasted, and approved It has, it's hard to read, it's blurry. Tested and approved by the Good Housekeeping Institute. Favorite recipes and meals from our kitchen to yours, the Good Housekeeping Institute. So my grandmother told me she got, she opened a bank account or something, and this was the gift. You know how the banks used to do that? Go open a bank account and we'll give you something. And this was the giveaway, and I'm not even sure you could buy this anywhere. I think it may have been just made for the bank, at least that year. Now, she could have gotten it in 1930. It's possible. I don't know if they printed the book and just used it that year, or if they may have had them for a year or two to use. I don't know. But my grandmother, you can only drink... I got something in the way here. Oh, you can only drink good Southern tea. Oh, yeah, I know. I understand that. My grandmother would have gotten married. I think she got married about 1930 or 31. And so this would have been close to the time she got married. She would have gotten this book. Now look at this picture inside here of this kitchen. How neat is this? Look at the stove. And these two ladies, look how they're dressed and their hair. And that sink. And that little table. Look at the floor, the tile on the floor. I think this is the only picture in here. It is so neat. And the old pots and pans. Can you see those old pots and pans on the table? And that real high window. Such a neat. Okay, so I'm going to read you something out of here. It's so funny. So they have this whole introduction section about telling you about making meals and stuff. So this is what some of the stuff they did in 1930s. It's called, this little, it's just a paragraph. It's called Meals of One Course or More. We are in the habit of thinking of meals in the form of courses. That must have been left over from the early 1900s and late 1800s. We often hesitate to serve the simplest home luncheon or dinner in less than 2 courses. For the main course at dinner, the general custom is to have meat, fish, or a meat substitute with 2 vegetables, with a dessert and sometimes a salad or a soup. Well, that doesn't sound too far off so far. I'm going to get my tea because that beeped. Here's my little tea basket. I let it drip. Sweet tea. Oh yeah, I have to have sweet tea. I don't like unsweet tea. I guess some people can drink that, but no, it's no good without sugar to me. My grandmother, my dad's mother, Annie Pikett, she used to make sweet tea. Ooh, it was sweet. It was so good. It was like dessert. The mom decided, whoa, we don't need that much sugar. Let's just put a little less sugar in the tea. She tried that for a little while. She'd reduce it a little bit more, and try to do it gradually. And the tea started tasting more and more. Well, Mom, this tea's I don't like it, kind of bitter. She tried it for a little while, and finally one day said, I can't stand it no more. We're going to go back to all the sugar. We did. Yeah, and it was like, oh, it's so much better. All right, let me finish reading you this little paragraph. Okay. Yet when asparagus is at the height of its season, many families would really welcome a meal of asparagus on toast, with little, if any, attention given to dessert. Now, who are these people? They would rather have asparagus on toast than dessert. Oh, that's the whole meal, asparagus on toast. Now, I am appreciative of the fact that in the 30s, and later even, they couldn't always get fresh vegetables. My mother even told me that. She was in Indiana. She said we couldn't get fresh fruit and vegetables. Sometimes they would get oranges and apples for Christmas and think, oh, because they just couldn't go buy them. And so I know asparagus must have been a treat if it didn't grow where you were, if it was not in season. But to have that be your whole meal, asparagus on toast, and you wouldn't even want dessert, according to this book. Then it says a mixed grill from the broiler of bananas, tomatoes, and well-seasoned meat cakes or chops is often a full meal, even for hungry folk. Okay, ladies. Time to get out your grill or your broiler and chop up some bananas and some tomatoes and mix them. It said mixed grill. Mix them and has maybe some meat cakes. I guess that's like meat patties or some chops. Bananas and tomatoes. Why, what could be better? Did they really eat this in 1930? These poor people. I mean, I'm all for bananas and tomatoes, but I'm not mixing them on the grill. Grilled bananas are probably good, but tomatoes and bananas? I don't know, maybe that asparagus and toast didn't sound so bad. And if you have this, you probably won't want dessert either if you eat bananas and tomatoes. I mean, yum. Oh, it's so funny. There's other funny stuff in here. I'll have to read it again to find it, but this book is just, it's got a whole bunch of recipes in there. I think this is kind of neat. In the front here, look at this. My grandmother did that. She liked to paint, and she painted. And I think my aunt and her daughter, one of my cousins, has maybe her little paintings. But she liked to paint birds and flowers, and she was pretty good, really. She was kind of artistic. And apparently one day she wanted to either clean her brush or test the paint color or something, and she must have opened this book and painted it. So I have a little swatch of what she was painting one day, cleaning her brush or something. I guess she didn't have anything else nearby, so that's what she used. It was pretty funny. This tea, it's very nice and has sugar. So the other books, I have a couple of other books and I've got to find them. I'm going to at least look up the names. Because one of them, I found it named in the other book. So the one book, it's something like the history, like there's a book here called The History of Fort Myers and the history of Tampa and the history of this and every town, every city has a book called The History of whatever the city is. And it was like a series of books. You may have seen them. You can probably look it up on Amazon or whatever on Google. And it was probably called The History of Wakulla or The History of Wakulla County. I remember the picture had a bunch of women, looked like from the 20s, in bathing suits, and they were all standing on a billboard, I think, but then old bathing suits. But in that book, there were a bunch of Pikeets listed, and that's why I got it. And now if there were other names in that book, they didn't stick with me because I got that book before I got the greens and cornbread one, and I didn't know all those other names were kin to me yet. So I would have just read over it. I was just looking for Pikeet because I knew that one. And so, but in that book, it talked about another little book that somebody wrote, and his name was Jake Pikeet, and he's like some distant cousin of my grandfather's. And apparently he wrote this book, I think he wrote it in maybe the 50s, but he wrote it about his childhood. So it was written about maybe the 20s or 30s or something. And apparently he wrote the book, and it's a little thin hardback book. Now, if you're lucky enough to find that book, I found it and bought one. But it's only you had baked tomato for lunch. Oh, it says Seymour. Oh yeah, baked tomato. I would. I bet you didn't put bananas in it though. Come on, you could have an authentic 1930s meal. You put some banana in there. A baked tomato would be good though. I've had different varieties of tomato pie. Have you ever had tomato pie? Tomato pie's good. I've had cold tomato pie. I've had warm tomato pie. They're good too. Especially if you put a lot of seasoning and a lot of spices and herbs and stuff in it. Those are good. So this thin little book this guy had written about his childhood, and he wrote about, he hunted and he fished, and it wrote about him running around Wakulla County growing up there, and it was really interesting, and it was written, it's in this old country boy style, and I forget what it's called, but I can look it up again because I know it was written by Jake Pikeet. But you would have to get a used copy because I think they only had one printing, and I found a used copy on, it might have even been Amazon, or it was somewhere on Google. But I'll have to find the name of it, but if you Google it, maybe you can find another used copy. But apparently what had happened was, and it's told, this is what happened in the other book, the history of Wakulla County book. And neither one of these are as good as the greens and cornbread is the best one. But apparently he wrote the manuscript for this, and at some point then he died, and his wife, his widow, took the book and published it, I think, after his death, and sold copies, and people bought it to help support her because they knew her husband had died, and they were trying to help her out, so they bought copies of this little book. I thought that was so sweet to find, but like I said, they are here somewhere, and I know I put them up real well to be safe and protected in case the hurricane came in, which it didn't, but I put them up somewhere. But I did find this one, the cookbook, and so it's somewhere probably in my spare room. So, since I already have on my lip color, my sugar plum, deep dark sugar plum, you see why I like to mix this with the lighter color. This is like midnight dark purple. Well, it's a red purple though. It's not a blue purple, it's a red purple. But I have, this one product I was going to show you. This is another really neat one. It is called Skin Polish. And this has in it olive oil, lemon oil, jojoba beads, and cypress. And it looks, hi Lauren. See, it's yellow. I don't know, well, the light's kind of pitiful. I've ordered a better light. Oh, here we go. Well, I don't know if you can see that it's yellow, but trust me, it's yellow. And it smells like lemon pie. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. So usually what I do with this is after I wash my face, usually in the shower, it's soft, creamy, almost like a moussey thing. And it's real good for dry skin, but you can use it. I have oily skin. You can use it if you have oily skin too. Because it will not make your skin oilier. It just makes it soft. Hi, Lauren. So, the jojoba beads, it's spelled Jojoba, but I think I looked it up. They're pronounced jojoba, or close to that. It's a little scrubby element to it. And they've used those little beads because apparently the EPA and the government is not allowing cosmetic companies to use synthetic little scrubbies much anymore, because apparently they're contaminating our waterways, and because they don't ever dissolve. Those little synthetic ones, they don't dissolve, they don't biodegrade, and they're just sitting in either water pipes or lakes and stuff, and they're just contaminating stuff. So the government is not wanting them to put synthetic scrub elements in stuff anymore. So this company, they didn't want to use synthetics anyway. They just wanted all natural products. So they put in these little jojoba beads because they're a natural biodegradable from the element from the jojoba plant, and they feel like a teensy tiny little pearl. They're not real rough, so if you have sensitive skin, they're not a harsh scrub. I do have a product that is a little harder scrub if you wanted a harder scrub, but this one is real, and you just put it on and like wash your face. I wash it in the shower, and then you can leave your face damp and put it all on your face, scrub it around a little bit because it has those little beads, and then just leave it kind of glopped on your face. And then I finish the shower, because you have to leave it on about 10 or 15 minutes. So that I just let it sit there while I do everything else. And it doesn't dry, this one. It's not a drying mask. It's a moisturizing, wet, goopy mask. And so you can do it in the shower where it's steamy, because it's not going to dry anyway. And then I finish watching, you get to smell this wonderful lemon. And then you finish, and then you just rinse it off. And your skin will be real soft. It's really one of my favorite things to do. It's interesting how, even though I have oily skin, the stuff that's made, well, this actually says all skin types. But the things that you think, because it's moisturizing, it would be better for dry skin, well, it's just as good for oily skin. Their products are just, so many of them work on any type of skin. It just depends on what you want. Do you want, we have a clay mask too. So if you want a clay mask to draw out impurities and draw out oil, or you want extra moisture. But like, I'll put the clay mask on one day, and then 2 or 3 days later, I'll put the moisturizing one on. Then you get the best of both worlds. So I have my lovely Disney World tea here today called Mad Hatter's Tea. I don't know if they even have this brand at the Grand Floridian anymore, but this is where I got it. It has passion fruit, pomegranate, and vanilla in a black tea. It is a sweet and fruity taste, clean, sweet finish. You could add milk to this if you like milk in tea, and sugar. It takes it well. But it is from www.tealeaves.com. If that still exists, yep, At the top, I know it's backwards, but at the top, that's where Disney sourced it from, and they would sell you their teas there. I don't know if you've ever been to the Grand Floridian and had tea there. Oh, it's very nice. Very nice, and they serve real Devonshire cream there. I don't know if you know what real Devonshire cream is, but it's really yummy. And you put it on scones, and you put it on with jelly. And they make their own scones there, and they come out, they're hot, and they're really good. So I have a tea scheduled for the tea room here in Fort Myers for the 21st. 2 friends of mine from work and I are going, and it's like their anniversary of their tea room, and so they're doing like a special tea, and so we're going, and that'll be fun because they have all kind of teas there, and then they just serve you all these little goodies, and so we're looking forward to that. Okay, so that's about all I have for today, and maybe I'll come on and do something more tomorrow. I'm definitely got to look up those books. I'll tell you what those books are. And I'm dog sitting my brother's dog today, well, this whole week actually, and I have to go let her out and take her for a walk. Maybe one day I'll show you the dog. She's really cute. But this is the weekend, yay! So no more work for me for a couple days. My favorite 2 days that go by in about 5 minutes and they're gone. But I'm gonna go and relax, and I hope you have a good night. And Patty, if you're still here, you enjoy your wine, and I am going to enjoy my tea. Help keep me awake a little bit longer. So then what happens is I'll lay down to go to sleep and whoop, sleep the whole night. I'll tell you, that's one thing I'm very thankful for. I don't have trouble sleeping. I have trouble staying awake, but I do not have trouble sleeping. I sleep nice. I think the Bible says, there's a verse in the Bible that says something about God gives sleep. God gives sleep. And I have to look that up. It says more than that, but he grants sleep to the godly or something. And yep, I get that, I guess. Of course, I would rather sleep at work, but I'm not allowed to do that. Okay, so you all have a good night. I will see you tomorrow. And I am so glad it's Friday. And do your makeup and look pretty. You know, if you look at pictures of yourself and you go, oh, you put a little bit of makeup on to your eyes a little bit, it's so much prettier. It really is. You don't make such bad faces at yourself. Okay, everybody, good night.